What's up, beautiful friends? Welcome to I Am Woke. I'm your host, Emelina Calder. In today's reading, I'm going to take you guys through a collective reading. I am in the Akashic Records, reading on behalf of the collective for any energy themes, any breakthroughs, anything that your spirit guides most want you to know right now, what source most wants you to know for the week of March 17th to the 24th, right before the eclipse next week. This reading is intended to be timeless, so whenever you do stumble on this, the messages that are here are meant for you to hear and to resonate with you, but specifically it's for this specific week in March, as well as we are moving through the last of this cycle that started in October that is closing out for this Libra eclipse. So that's what we've got here. If you're new to my world, welcome. My name is Emelina Calder. I am a modern shaman, a high performance coach, life coach, and personal branding coach. I'm also an Akashic Records reader, a diviner, a channel. I channel updates pretty much weekly and on the new moons and full moons. I do Akashic Records readings. I do channels where I actually am a source transmission. What else do I do that you guys need to know that are new? I do spiritual development videos and personal development videos, and I really try to haul ass and post a lot of videos every week. Last week was a little slow because I'm working through my own integration process. So if any of that sounds like your vibe, go ahead and tap that subscribe button and the bell for notifications so you don't miss any energy updates. I'm thrilled to have you here. Thank you for being here with me. And what else have I got? Also, I've left a link in the description below. It's immemelina.com/meditation for a free 45-minute guided meditation and healing activation to help you connect to and reinforce your own internal guidance, your own source connection within yourself, within your solar plexus. I'm just gonna say a quick hi. I saw Wanda pop up. Hi, Wanda. Hello to everyone joining me now and everyone joining me later. And you can go ahead and get access to that free guided meditation in the link below. Now, before I go forward more, I just want to call out where I am at because it helps me sync into my source channel. So I'm a little scattered. I don't know if the collective energy is a little scattered, but I feel almost like my energy is like a little top heavy. So you guys might be feeling that as well. And I'm like seeing out of the corner of my eye a card that says root chakra. So the first thing I'm going to say is do some pretty active effort this week on grounding. I probably will shoot another update for the eclipse next week. It is in Libra, and I do believe it is in Aries season. So for all of you cardinal signs, you're going through it, which is Aries, Libra, Capricorn, and Cancer. Also, maybe say a prayer for all the Librans and Aries in your life. I was making a joke yesterday with one of my good Aries friends, and I was like, for all of you out there, if you have Aries friends, ask them if they need a hug, and if you have any Libra friends, ask them if they need to scream and cry. That is the vibe. We're going through it. I mean, obviously everybody's going through it, but Aries and Libra are super highlighted because these cycles are just all very triggering for Aries and Libra in the charts, as well as the South Node being in Libra and the North Node in Aries. I won't go to the specifics of it. I'm not an astrologer, but there are a lot of things going on there. Hi, Drea. Oh my gosh, good to see you. I'm happy you're here with me. Good to catch you live as well. All right. First thing for this week that is coming very loud and clear that I'm going to say is, this is kind of funny how it's coming through. Toss any bullshit aside. You guys are purging. You're in the middle of letting go of some darker, shadowed attachments and energies. Those could be people, but really what the attachments are, or ideas or belief systems that are in any level of scarcity mindset that have been holding you back from expressing yourself, from shining, from just feeling comfortable and confident in your own radical, radiant authenticity. And anything that doesn't fit that mold of the new version of you, the most expressed version of you, is coming up to the surface to be healed. Spirit wants to bring your attention to it, your awareness to it, so that you can acknowledge it and then finally let it go and release it. What does that look like for the human? It might look like some fits of crying, all right? I'm not gonna beat around the bush. That might look like you screaming into a pillow. That might look like you going for a walk in nature just to reacclimate yourself to like the positive aspects of grounding with the planet. Because I mean, not that it's not ground, I won't get into the specifics of it. There's gonna be releasing. The releasing is a purge. It is not to show you that these things are permanent and in your life because you've screwed up your manifestations or anything like that. It's actually that you've done so well with your manifesting process and so well with your spiritual growth process and showing up that spirit is bringing like a last hurrah to the bullshit in your life, just pulling it up to the surface for you to see, stare at, look at in the eyes and in the face and say, oh, I see that. I'm not really interested in that anymore. You know, like, let me let that go. Let me settle myself in my own alignment with myself, what's important to me. And acknowledge who I am now, not who I was before whenever these problems were caused or people or attachments or whatever it is. Now, I'm going to move it along because I set a little timer for myself today that you guys might see go off to stay on track for myself. So, Spirit, give me a couple of themes. What do we most need to know? What does the collective most need to know for this week? All right. All right. I hope you guys are ready. Okay, we have the Destroyer coming out immediately. I feel like this card comes up in my readings all the time. And we got the Vampire right behind it. So let me break this down for you. The Destroyer is like the tarot card. Is like the Tower card in tarot. It is releasing anything that has been holding you back. That's like the very simple way of talking about this card. There are a lot of things going on here. Any pent-up emotions, any pent-up anxiety, fear, anger, injustice, that one's coming very loud and clear. Any injustice, any karmic debts owed to you. I'm not seeing well, we could talk about the karmic debts perhaps that you owe, but that's not really where the attention is. It's karmic debts owed to you. It's your destiny coming to you, but there have been things that have been holding you back. These could be lingering attachments to people from your past. I will call them phantom people because they might not even literally be in your life right now. But they had significance in your past, and there are still kind of some like lingering attachments to those ideas that you are going to be releasing with finality. They're showing me like a complete burning up. I don't know if you guys saw my post today, but man, the fire and the phoenix and the transformation vibes are like very strong this week. Spirit's coming to burn up anything that doesn't belong in your life. And that might be uncomfortable. Just kind of sit in the humanity of it, which is allowing yourself to feel whatever comes up. Feel the feelings. Don't judge yourself for those feelings. Allow yourself to be crunchy. That's the way that I like to call it. Like when I'm just like feeling like off. Don't try to overfix it. Don't try to bypass and be like, I just want to feel good. God knows we want to do that. But, you know, there's a lot of value in really sitting in the crunchiness, the crunchy feelings. The crunchy state of being and going with the flow. So in your flow, like what would make you feel a little bit better? It might just be calling a friend. It might be, I mean, I'm in Los Angeles. For me, that's going to the beach. You know, I don't have specific examples for you, but you guys are going to know in your heart, like when you're in your flow, when you're in your crunch, like, what do I need right now? Do I need to take a bath? Do I need to make a call? Do I need to go for a walk? Do I need to go make myself a juice? Do I need to get some new supplements that would help me? Like, I don't know why, but they're showing me St. John's wort. Some of you that are having trouble riding these emotional waves. Also, please be attentive that I am not a medical psychic or medical anything. So, you know, check in with your doctors if you got to do that, whatever, you know, be on top of your health. But regardless, they're showing me a bottle of St. John's wort. So something perhaps like that, if you are having trouble riding the emotional lows right now, you could supplement yourself with like vitamins that are naturally mood enhancing. Kava is another one you can take even in tea format in the evening to help you relax. I'm actually seeing a lot of sleep disruption as well. I've had a ton of trouble sleeping as well. So like, you guys might want to either have a relaxing supplement like a kava tea if that works for you. Again, only take that if that resonates. I'm not a medical practitioner. And you might want to create an evening routine of like maybe even 2 hours of like a really great decompression where you have a meditation, where you do some cord detachments and removal, where you do a soul retrieval. I've got these videos over in my YouTube feed, where you really sit with yourself. And I'm not just seeing journaling. If journaling works for you guys, great. I have needed to call friends. So maybe make a phone call like every night this week, and try to just allow yourself to be who you need to be with someone that you can trust to hold that space for you, no matter what space that you are in. I hope this is helpful. Okay, so part of this Destroyer card is that you're making room for new. You are entering a new chapter. This eclipse is going to be a very new chapter for the majority of us. And it's just about, there's like a grieving process, like allowing anything that is meant to fall away, allowing yourself to grieve it, to give it a level of completion, which is your preparation of knowing that the light at the end of the tunnel is like right here. Like, don't give up. It's right here. They're not giving me specifics, so I'm going to pull some more cards, but like, it's right here. Do not give up, okay? I know a lot of us have been on like a 6-month track of doing whatever you've been doing, wondering like, is this going to break through yet? Like, that's kind of the energy right now. Keep going. You're right there. You're right at the end or at the new. Now, this vampire card, I want to touch on as well. Again, this is bringing my attention right back to the attachments. This very much has to do with people, but it might also just have to do with shadowed archetypal energies or entities that are riding on the attachments that you have, like negative belief systems. God bless all of you. We all have them. Don't judge yourself for it. Just start to acknowledge, like, where am I thinking in terms of shadow? Where am I overgiving? Where am I not receiving enough? Where am I undervaluing myself? What else, Spirit? Where are people openly taking too much from me and they know it? That's something you should look at. That could be totally invisible. Trust yourself. Trust your guidance. Those could be etheric connections. I was coaching someone this week around, a number of people this week actually, around, there are people that exit your life, right? Whether they're exes, whether they're past family members, whether they're, whatever it is, people can have really strong projections on what they want. And those projections, depending on how the strength of the projections for each of these individual people, they send that energy to you. And very frequently we think that's like, I feel like a lot of people think that's like spirit because it comes with strength and it comes invisibly, telepathically. That is frequently not spirit. It is the other person. And what I like to do is just kind of like wall up my energy. You can just place yourself in like an iridescent bubble, like a rainbow bubble around you, and say, only spiritual messages come through that are meant for me. Only messages from my spirit guides that are meant for me are reaching me and coming through, because we live in a world where there's a lot of psychic communication. There's a lot of telepathic communication. And just because it's sent to you doesn't mean you have to receive it. It doesn't mean it's actually meant for you. It's kind of like someone, how do I explain? Like calling you, or like you don't have to pick up the phone. This is just the example that's coming through. It's the same thing etherically. Just because someone's pinging at you or tapping onto your fields, that's how I like to call it as a psychic or a shaman, that's kind of how I feel it, doesn't mean you have to respond, Dre, I'm just gonna read your comment. So helpful, you've been purging. Yes. Oh, yeah, there's been a lot of emotional energy that's been coming up. Also, it'd be beneficial probably for all of you guys to look up where Libra is in your chart, because the collective South Node is in Libra, which is the collective like karmic attachments that we're releasing and moving away from and stepping into the Aries new territory, like claiming your right to live, claiming your right to a good life, claiming your self-respect, That's where the collective is right now. So it's worth looking at where Libra is in your chart, because that's what you're like resolving, bringing resolve to karmically. And the karmic way through is looking at where Aries is in your chart and then stepping into those aspects of yourself, the lighter aspects of Aries. Okay, so let me tap back into this. The Vampire card. So it says the light attribute is making you aware that someone or something is draining your life force. So, I mean, the blanket statement I'm going to give you is anything that's draining you, just acknowledge it, let it go, and then find something, create like an energetic barrier, I would say. Put yourself in a bubble, all right? And also just tell spirit, if any of you are a little self-conscious about this, like anyone that is meant to come through and get my communication or my attention, if it is through source, if source would have it, if God has guided it, if it is meant to be, then I allow it. You know, so that's kind of how I always think about my my personal energy bubble. That if my attention needs to be grabbed in a certain way for me to, I don't know or do anything, that it is. And otherwise, that my energy is contained to myself. There are always so many energies, attachments, people, even people we don't know. For those of you who are online like this, like I can feel when there's a lot of people trying to get my attention, even just energetically, and I've got a lot of methods of awareness of kind of working through that for myself, just to, you know, keep myself sane. But like, it's kind of all the same. You know, there's a lot of thought energy, and it's not all meant for us. But the more emotional you are, the more intuitive you are, the more psychically attuned you are, the easier it is for us to pick up on all of those things. And then we kind of take it on and think it's ours, but actually it's not. You get to choose what energies you want to take on. So if it doesn't feel good, let it go. Let yourself grieve if you need to grieve. Let yourself purge, knowing that the purge is temporary, that the clouds will break to a dawn. And they just popped all these out. Okay. The cards that just came out are the guide, the child, magical, and the teacher. So I'm going to show you guys these, and I'm going to break this down quickly and move to another deck. Anything else Spirit's got in mind for me? Teacher. You're stepping into a role where actually you may be teaching people. And what I'm seeing immediately is you're going to be teaching people how to treat you. The golden rule, right? Like treat others how you want to be treated. Treat yourself how you want others to treat you. And make that the rule. It's the rule. You know, I treat myself the way that I want to be treated, and I don't allow anyone to treat me any differently than how I treat myself. So that's like the rule that I have. You are going to be teaching people how to treat you. You are going to be teaching people what levels of respect you expect in your energy field, in your environment, around all the people you're around. And, you know, you can still get along with people you disagree with too. It's just about teaching them how to respect you. It's about, let me just see, Jennifer just popped in. You're actually a teacher. Oh my gosh. literally, this one's for you. Yeah, it is about setting boundaries. It's about setting boundaries in a way where you expect to be met. Let me think about how to explain this. It's not setting boundaries in the way that you feel like you have to fight for your right to be respected. It's not like that. It's like you're setting boundaries because you just know that you're entitled to respect, and everyone around you is going to respect you. Like they are going to meet you where you set your bar, where you set your standard. And they don't have to agree with you either, and that's the beauty of it. You know, there's a lot of respect when we unlearn codependent dynamics in relationships, where we can, from the place of being in our heart and centered within ourselves, we can express ourselves to another person and say what we feel like we need to say for our expression, not to fix or heal them, not to correct, blah, 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 you know, whatever the thing is, like, because it's you. You want to express it for you, so then you express it. And then hold space, because you have to know in any level of relationship, that other person might not agree with you. So can you hold space in two ways, right? And this is the Libra balance coming through in prep for this eclipse coming up next week. It's like, can you hold space for your own personal self-expression? And can you hold space also for the place where the other person might not agree with you, or they might agree with you, but holding space for their personal expression as well, without demeaning or being upset with them or throwing a temper tantrum or doing anything to get your way. Like, it goes both ways. You know, you treat yourself with respect, and it's also about knowing that other people are deserving of their inherent self-worth their personal self-expression? And can you also hold space for them to express themselves without you taking it personally? I'm trying to think. I have a personal example that one of my friends brought up to me yesterday, and I wonder if I can solidify it enough to use it as an example. Essentially, I was in a conversation with a friend, and a text conversation, right? And they needed some help with something, and I felt like I was butting up against like an idea where I was like, oh, they might not take this well, but I feel like this is the advice that I would give, and they've asked me for advice. So I don't want to hold that back, but I'm not sure if it'll be taken well. So I literally centered in myself, and I was like, you know what? I'm going to say what I feel like I need to say because I was asked to be in this position, like they asked me. So I'm going to honor that. So I said what I wanted to say, even though I wasn't sure that it would be popular because I felt like I was calling something out. And then I released and I let go, and I said it with tact and grace. And for myself, I was like, you know what? That's not even for them. That's what I felt like I needed to say to be of assistance in this way, and the type of person that I am, with the type of character that I have, as the type of friend that I am. And however they respond is great, is perfect. Like, my job is done. I've done what I've needed to do. And then they came back and they disagreed with me, but in such a beautiful way as well. They were like, I hear that, and you know what? I think you're right, but that's just not where I am right now. And I was like, totally get it. I totally get it. And you are absolutely entitled to that. And I totally respect that as pop. And what was beautiful, we had a conversation about this too, is what was beautiful about that is because I didn't judge myself. I didn't hold myself back. So I didn't have any resentment for not saying what I thought I needed to say, or being the type of friend that I needed to be according to my world and my character. And they had said they didn't feel any resentment either because they didn't feel like they had to take it. They had to take the advice. They felt like they wanted to meet them where they were. And we had a really beautiful conversation. It was very magical. So that's an example of harmonious communication around your boundaries, how you can set a boundary, you can respect a boundary, and all of it can live very harmoniously. The child magical is coming out, and I really do feel like this is part of this archetypal pattern coming up right now for you guys. It's like, it's like, I mean, literally, I'm just going to read the card because it's what it says. Seeing the potential for sacred beauty in all things, the belief that everything is possible. It's the belief that you can be respected and you can give respect. Like, you can say what you need to say, and you can respect other people's opinions, and all the things can be harmonious. Just because someone doesn't agree with you doesn't mean that you can't have a really thriving, beautiful relationship. It's just literally learning how to be respected and to respect boundaries. And I saw 2222 on the timer as I said that. So it's literally about balance, about harmony, about union, about respect. Look up some positive Libran traits on Google. That is the stuff that is coming through. Not the lower level Libran traits, the shadow archetypes, but the lighter aspects of the Libra archetype, in balance and harmony and union and diplomacy, and speaking your mind with tact and with grace, looking out for all parties, realizing that whenever you express yourself in a really positive, uplifting way, that same space is held for everyone around you. You are acting as a guide at this time as well, through how you speak, through how you interact with humans, other people in your life, more specifically that you love, but also remember, for the ones that you maybe don't, or that you'd like to remove from your life, to also have tact, grace, balance, but to also be willing to throw the fire, okay? We had the destroyer come up. This is like, boundaries are really interesting because you set them, especially, they're showing me more Libran traits. It's literally like you set the boundary gently, you set the boundary in a loving way. And then if somebody continues to try to pierce through that boundary, in any level of violence, like, you are going to set fire to it. And there's just nothing else about that. Nobody is here to be a martyr. If you need to hear that, I will say it. We are over the martyr archetype. We are over self-sacrificing themes and behaviors. And they're just bringing my attention again to the child magical card, which is, again, seeing the potential, seeing your potential, seeing the potential for grace in others around you, seeing the potential for the harmony, which ultimately you can't control other people's actions, how they show up, how they feel, etc. But everything can be harmonious. You just have to be able to embrace that God is in charge, not you. And that even if it doesn't look like it's going the way that you think it should, that it's still going the way that it needs to. So respect that process. I'll see how much more longer I'm going to go here, but respect that process that God is taking you through, that God is taking the other people through, that and by God, the universe, infinite intelligence, whatever word you need, that everything is arranged in the most supportive way for everyone involved for the highest good. And that's where you're respecting. You're respecting the process that everything is working out. I heard an affirmation this week that I absolutely loved. And I'm going to share it with you guys as well. I heard this woman say, she states her name like, so I would go, my name is Emelina Calder and only good things happen to me. That's how you can respect the process of how the universe is like unfolding relationships with people and things in your life. Knowing that only good things happen to you, so whatever happens must be good. Which is really a perspective that when you adopt, then the universe has no choice but to reflect that belief back to you in like a whole number of ways. Okay. Spirit, what do we most need to know right now for the rest of the week? This week coming up. They're actually guiding me to another deck, but I'm going to pull a couple cards here. Nope, they're pulling me away from this deck. They don't want the animals right now. They're literally having me stare at this one. Okay. That's what we got. Spirit, what do we most need to know right now this week? Drink water, hydrate, you guys. As you're purging, you need more water to facilitate the electricity in your cells. Okay, they gave me the power card. I'm strong, I'm grounded, I'm powerful. I'm like a cross between a dinosaur and a tank. So cute. I'm like a peaceful, this is so cute, whatever. I'm like a peaceful, loving dino tank who feels so strong it doesn't need to be anything but itself, okay? So like, again, you guys, Google search higher level Libra archetypal traits and Google search like higher level or like, I forget what it's called, higher vibrational Aries traits. The combination of the blend of Libra and Aries is this week. It is the eclipse that's coming up next week. Okay. So that's literally what I'm getting from this card. It's the balance of I think they had me say this in a channel last week. Speak softly, carry a big stick. Okay. The big stick is the Aries archetype. The speak softly is the Libra archetype. All right. So like, they're making this message very, very simple for me. Be strong, be powerful in who you are, and don't be afraid to be diplomatic. Like, be sweet, be loving, be accommodating. And when somebody crosses the boundary, tell them there's a boundary there. And then if they continue to cross that boundary, well, then you're going to set some hard lines. I don't know what that's going to look like for each and every one of you. Reflect on it. I think you'll know. I think it comes down to destroying anything that doesn't belong in your life, and you're going to know, because it'll come like, you know, they're just showing me the vision of like a locked door. Like you've specifically locked the door and someone came to the door, like a solicitor, and knocked on the door, and you look through the little peephole and they're like, hey, I'm here to sell you, bup. And you said, oh, no, thanks. I'm not interested. And then they showed up and tried to break down your door. And you're like, well, not only am I calling the cops, but like I've got a bazooka behind the other side of it. I don't know why they're making it that aggressive, but they are. It's like the tank. Like, it's like, that made, and for you guys, that made me feel so self-conscious just now. I'm just like, what? Like, you're coming through aggressive. But that's also telling me what you guys are kind of dealing with. There's a mix of energies. There are a lot of different energies. They're not just people. A lot of these are energies. They're like entities that run on the energetic mental attachments that we have that give weight to certain ideas or ways of being. A lot of these aren't people. It's like you like slamming a door to a specific idea. Right now, scarcity is coming through. Self-harm, self-loathing, negative self-talk, judgment or harm or betrayal of yourself or others. Like those sorts of energies, they're saying like, okay, you set the first boundary. This is what's happening in your consciousness. You like lock the door. You're like, oh no, thanks. I don't want the scarcity thought. And then it's going to come back again because that's like kind of what it does. Hi, Marisol, good to see you here. And when it comes back again and again, and it's still soliciting you mentally, psychically, it's up to you. I don't know exactly how you guys are going to do this, but I think just hearing this channel will bring your attention to it, so you'll be conscious of the process as it shows up for each and every one of you. Is like you setting a hard MF boundary with these specific thought forms and entity types coming towards you, which you'll feel like they might be your thoughts, but they're not. They're collective thoughts banging down the door of your personal energy saying, let me in. And you're going to blow them up. I think literally you could see the energies just blowing up. Like any scarcity thought that comes by, any martyrdom thought that comes by, any betrayal thought that comes by, blow it up. Like literally see it in a container, like with like a little atom bomb in your mind, and just blow it up and be like, no, 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 I'm not available for that. Only good things happen to me. And then say your name, like my name is, and only good things happen to me. And just with repetition, set that into motion by occupying your own state of power and awareness. Okay, I'm just gonna tap in a little moment here and see what else Spirit wants to bring forward. They're also, this is so funny. They're also telling me that when you make demands on people or things or what have you, and you are being assertive, to say please and thank you. They're reminding me to bring diplomacy, a certain level of politeness, even if you disagree with someone. It's not about destroying them, even though the destroyer card had come up. It's about being polite, because here's the thing. If you feel like you have to run around and destroy things, like you've actually displaced your power again. The act of being polite, not for the sake of being polite or nice. It's not for the external appearance of someone else. The act of being polite is to yourself and respecting, like that's not actually a problem. The moment you start going, I have to have this and I'm going to destroy this, like when you do that, it displaces your power, and then you give that thing so much power that it needs to be fought with that much force, if that makes sense. So when you're polite, like please, thank you, no thank you, I'm looking for something else, this is a clear boundary, you're just acting sovereign in yourself, like a king or queen, just acknowledging to yourself like all is well, or Wayne Dyer, what's his quote, nothing serious is going on here. Like it's just like not giving your power away to problems in your immediate environment. Source, what other messages do we most need to know for this beautiful week coming up that is very balanced? It's a very balanced week. It's going to be very easy to see these patterns, release them, let them go, and attune yourself to self-expression. What makes you feel like, again, they're bringing my attention to the politeness, and by polite, I want to say like, instead of, if something comes on your plate this week that's a hell no, you could just say no thank you. That's enough. No thank you. No thank you is a curse breaker. You know, you don't have to be crazy about your boundaries. You can just be like, no, thank you. And that's enough. And say yes to the things that you mean, that you wish to say yes to. All right, Spirit, what do you want? What do we need to know? Make it clear as day message. That one's pretty clear as day. It's popping. Oh, the lizard. All right, you guys. This tells me that you are in a highly creative place. That inner child is like budding. You've got a lot going on. You're feeling like the sun. You've got a lot of energy. You've got a lot of psychic energy, a lot of intuition. And the thing about the lizard is it's highly creative, but it's almost like, it's coming across kind of similar to the firefly. It's almost like it can burn out really quickly. So that's because there's too much of other people's opinions, thoughts, ideas coming at you. You know, the lizard gets overwhelmed in big crowds. So maybe don't do a lot of big gatherings this week, you know, take that as it resonates, but more specifically, center your own energy in yourself and your own energy bubble, your auric field. Kind of keep to yourself is what I'm seeing. Protect your energy, not because there's specifically harm or anything, but because you deserve your energy to be cultivated. You're in a combination of like a rest energy is what I'm seeing for this week. A recouping, a sitting with your creativity, allowing your creativity to be with you, to like bubble and build up within yourself, which means it's better not to be giving out all of that energy to 1.5 million people, you know? So just think about centering with yourself. Meditate with the Sacred Rainbow Flame of Creation, which is the free meditation that I have linked below. But you just see I'll just give you the fast scenarios. You see a rainbow flame, like a 6-inch rainbow flame in your solar plexus, and meditate with that rainbow flame and see the rainbows like going all around your body in a little rainbow bubble to contain and build your own creative energy. What do we most need to pray for this week, Spirit? I was going to pull another, but they're just bringing all of my attention to this one. I pray for immediate protection, I pray for immediate divine protection from dark forces. Okay? There's a lot of like lower level evils, dark energies in the collective right now, which makes sense because of there's this purging of the South Node in Libra, a purging of codependency, a purging of people pleasing, a purging of other people pulling on your energy, a purging of quieting your own opinion, a purging of repressing your own sexuality, a purging of repressing your own self-expression, any of the shadowed Libran archetypes. That's the stuff that's being purged at the collective energy level. So, and that can feel really with a lot of weight because Libra has everything to do with people. It has everything to do with relationship. It has everything to do with community, communication, the flow and exchange of resource, of energy, of attention, and whether or not it's balanced. So pray for immediate protection from dark forces at the bottom of the deck. This is the prominent energy as I pray to see clearly what is for me and what is not for me. Okay, so just ask for discernment. I pray to thrive, step into that self-expression, which might just be expressed by yourself by taking a freaking bubble bath. I pray to be open to new possibilities. You are opening a brand new chapter. Your attention is going to be brought to new aspects of yourself that you've never seen within yourself before. Where you're expressing yourself, like, not even wildly, just like in a very new way. Like what I was saying before, where like somebody approaches you with some BS and you're like, no, thank you. And they're like, what? So like you usually bite onto that bait. And you're like, no, thank you. Like, it's just like a different way of expressing yourself. There we go. I'm like, Spirit, where you come? I love when they pop the cards out. Okay, I pray for protection from harming or betraying myself or others. That is a good morning prayer to say every day in general. And I pray to be glue for that which is meant for me, which is asking Spirit to, anything that's meant for you will come to you. You won't miss it. It is in perfection. It is for you. It's got your name on it, and you have to have it. And Spirit's bringing it to you. So that's what I've got for you guys for this week. Meditate on the Sacred Rainbow Flame of Creation in your solar plexus. Be creative. Be balanced in all of the dynamics between yourself and others. Be mindful of your thoughts, the ones that feel very crunchy or very negative. A lot of those aren't actually yours. So blow it up in your mind. Pray for protection from dark forces. Call in your elevated ancestors. Call in the elements if you work with the elements, or just source consciousness, or your angels, whatever entity types, benevolent entities you work with, to give yourself the confidence that you feel like you're going to need this week for this transformation, this transition. And I literally just reshuffled the deck, and they gave me, again, I pray for immediate divine protection from dark forces. So there are lower level evils that will be knocking at your door in your consciousness, and it is up to you to say no thank you and then blow them up in your mind and just be done with it. Just don't give it the attention, there's going to be more than one. I don't know what this will look like for you guys, but I am seeing it more as like a psychic energy. That this is the collective psychic energy working through. So kind of just be on top of monitoring your own thoughts and ask yourself if they're really yours. That's where I'm being guided and led. What I'm being guided and led to tell you. So I think with this, I'm going to close this reading out. Spirit, is there anything else you want to say? Honestly, they keep things so light for me. I don't know who this message is for. I don't know what movie this came from, but they said kick ass sea bass. So whoever that message is for, enjoy that. And yeah, if you love my vibe, I'll leave some links in the description below and some ways that you can work with me. I have a meditation album that I think you guys are going to love. It's called the I Am Success Meditations. I'll leave that link in the description below. I also just started a Patreon account. I'd love to have you guys there with me. We're going to do a lot of fun stuff, some behind the scenes, different recipes for juices and smoothies and things like that. I'm going to be doing some readings over there just for my Patreon community, some exclusive meditations, and more. That's it. Alrighty, sending you guys so much love. Enjoy your week. And until next time, I'll see you in the next video. Peace.